Now let's have a look at the tank. We need to get this tank clean. So, how do I clean it? Plenty of that, and them. Right, so this tank is absolutely filthy. So I'm going to put 70 of these in. 70, I've counted them. They're nice and sharp. Just put me 70. Because I know there's 70 going in. 70's got to come out. Also, because I've got a donor bike, I've got an old tap that's of no use whatsoever, and I'm going to fit that into the tap slot so that will blank that off. Once that's on, there's nothing in it at the moment, just 70 screws. That, as you can imagine, will start making the rust get a little bit loose. I'm going to put the cap back on, and then we're going to fill this with vinegar. Look at the condition of the other side of the cap. Let's see if we can change that as well once we actually get involved. Hold it on as per normal. Now I've got to fill it to the brim with white vinegar. Once it's filled to the top, and I mean to the top, shut the cap. So, into the tank. Halfway. Shut it up. Give it a good then empty it fully. That's what the first round looks like. So I'm going to filter that just to see how much rust has actually come out of it. Lovely. This is now the third attempt. A couple of times with fuel and now with vinegar. But I've got an agitator as well this time. So all of that has been filtered, and now so let's have a look, see what it looks like when it's finished. Well, considering how rusty it was in the beginning, I've got some oil in there at the moment which I'm using to cover everything, but look how much that has de-rusted it. Here we go. So the oil has collected a lot of water. What was a litre of oil is now totally emulsified. But the good thing is, it's covered the inside of the tank so that corrosion, flash rust, hasn't occurred. So now that tank is ready for the new tap to be put on, well not new tap, but the reconditioned tap to be put on, and some real, genuine, new E5 fuel. Restored tap that's going to be put back on, and then the tank itself can be considered operational. So what do you think then? Was using the vinegar any good at cleaning a tank out? Did it really work? Was it worth doing? Well, this tank was disgusting. This tank was basically scrap. I would have, and I have in the past, thrown away tanks that, you know, were better than this, purely because the inside, in my opinion, was unrecoverable. And the thing is with this tank, I just thought, well, it's worth giving it a go because, well, we've got to lose. I did have, or have got, another tank which is really nice inside, but it needs painting. So I'd have to paint a tank in order to get a really good tank. So this was worth giving it a go, just to see if it would actually be worth doing it in the future. Well, I've got my doubts about stuff like, you know, vinegar and mystery things which, you know, you can find under the sink. I don't really believe that. So anyway, I went to the local supermarket, bought up every single bit of bloody white vinegar that they've got, cleaned them out, and as you've seen, I've used it. And I used it for about 3 or 4 days, and I emptied it, filled it back up, emptied it, filled it back up, and then had the final thing of blowing it through with water to make sure that I'd neutralised the acid of the vinegar and got rid of any residual rust. Now I think the fact that I put 70 of those bloody sharp screws in, I think that was a major consideration for how it turned out. I would honestly say now, if somebody was asking me, would you use vinegar, mate? The answer is, basically, mate, yes. It's the nuts. Those 70 screws were really a major part of the success, but definitely the acid in the vinegar ate into the rust, removed the rust, so now I've got a tank, although it's not 100%, it's not as good as the other tank I've got, it is totally usable. And if I had a bike with a tank like this on it, I wouldn't be the slightest bit worried. The only thing you've got to be careful of is you don't leave it for a long period of time with no bloody fuel in it, because that will cause rust to reoccur. But I mean, that's obviously for the future. But the good thing is, I'm going to put this tank back on the bike knowing that I'm not going to get any grief from bloody rust into the carbs, into the filters, blocking the tap up, all of that sort of stuff. So yes, the vinegar treatment is, in my mind, brilliant. First time I've ever used it, I'm very pleased. So yes, 100% yes. So hopefully now I can put this tank back together and then we could start riding the bike. See you soon. Bye.